Welcome to a quick and short boss up episode of the Savvy Shopkeeper Retail Podcast. I'm your host, Kathy Cruz. I'm guessing you saw the title of this episode, and if you didn't, the Savvy Shopkeeper Retail Podcast recently hit 200,000 downloads. 200K downloads. It's incredible. So first and foremost, thank you. Thank you for listening, for subscribing, for sharing about me, for sharing about the podcast, and for telling me how helpful this podcast is to you and your business. I sometimes talk about how we, as business owners, we don't pause, we don't rest, and we don't celebrate ourselves. And sometimes this applies to me too. In fact, there's a Master Shopkeepers member who calls me out because she can see in videos when I'm home or in pictures of my dining room that I still have the same unopened bottle of champagne in that room, and she's seen it for years. So now it's become a running joke where she says, Kathy, you still haven't opened up that bottle of champagne. And then the conversation kind of goes into celebrating. And I realized I'm nearly 6 years into this passion project, and I'm using air quotes. You can't see me, but I'm using air quotes because that's what Savvy Shopkeeper started as. And since then, I've published over 100 blog posts, over 140 podcast episodes. I've created and filled an online academy with content and resources. I've taught dozens and dozens of masterclasses. I've led membership groups. I've spoken at conferences. I've coached dozens of one-on-one clients. I've hosted 2 retreats and so much more. I will say that I am consistent and I do take pride in that. But just like you, probably many of you or all of you, I sometimes minimize what I do, what I've accomplished, and I don't always give myself credit for the effect Savvy Shopkeeper has had on other small business owners, and I certainly don't celebrate it enough. So, I'm here to tell you that I'm going to push pause temporarily so that I can celebrate. And I have to say that I'm not pushing pause on everything. I'm simply going to push pause on this podcast for the month of October. Publishing a weekly podcast show takes an incredible amount of time, effort, and resources. And I have to give a shout out to Team Savvy because I certainly can't do this alone. So pushing pause for a month on the podcast will actually give me a bit of a break. And I love publishing this podcast, so that says a lot. I actually truly enjoy it. Like, I look forward to recording this every week. After I decided to pause and celebrate, I also decided I am not going to try to replace or compensate for this decision either, which I'm known to do. And some of you this is going to be relatable. That's why I'm sharing it. I'm the person that thinks, oh, well, if I'm taking something away, then I have to fill that gap and I have to compensate for it. But I'm not doing that this time. And I know some of my biz besties, if you're listening, I know some of you are rooting me on right now. I'm not going to replace work with more work. However, I am going to replace it with some personal fun stuff. I'm going to replace that time and effort that I would have put into the podcast with getting myself into a winter workout routine. It's so hard for me to go from like spring, summer, fall and being able to be outside to shifting to working out inside. It's a struggle, and I'm actually going to give myself some time to get adjusted to that. I'm going to replace it with making an appointment for a physical, a doctor physical. I just went for a dental cleaning this week and recently had my annual mammogram, and I stay committed to my annual mammogram, and I think it's important to talk about because we've had several group members who were diagnosed with breast cancer. And I've watched them go through their journeys of treatment and healing. And it's a reminder to me to be consistent with that too. So I did that. I went to my dentist appointment. Next thing's going to be the physical. I'm going to replace that time with other fun stuff. Not that the doctor stuff is fun, but I'm going to replace it with fun stuff. Like I want to spend time with my own family. We have some things on the calendar this month. I want to spend time with friends. And the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to visit my Trello board. For those of you who are like, what's Trello? It's Trello. It's a project management software. I've talked about it a lot, but I sometimes feel like I talk about it and some of you might be wondering what it is. But I'm going to visit one of my boards in there where I have documented all of my progress and wins and accomplishments over the past 6 years so that I can simply celebrate. These things are for me. Yep, they're for me. They're not for anyone else. And you know what's great is I'm not exhausted. I'm not stressed. I don't have anxiety. I don't feel like this is selfish. This decision actually comes from a really super confident and strong place. And while sitting in that strength and confidence, I also want to spend some time making decisions for the future of Savvy Shopkeeper. I have lots of goals and countless ideas, like so many ideas. Pushing pause in October is going to give my brain the space to breathe and think. I'll be doing a lot of journaling in my planner. There's something to be said for slowing down a bit and not worrying about the state or future of your business. Like I want this for all of you too. If you've taken the Savvy Shopkeeper, this is what happens when I don't have an editor and I just start talking. If you've taken the Savvy Shopkeeper quiz and found you're at the retail CEO stage in business, you actually know what I'm talking about. Having the freedom to do something like this is pretty incredible, and I'm proud of myself for getting to this point. In fact, one of my episodes, when I return in November with new episodes, I'll be talking about the characteristics of a retail CEO. So you see what I mean? Like I'm already planning what's happening in November. The brain doesn't stop. Anyhow, I know the month of October will go by fast, and some of you may be bummed that I'm pausing. I have a lot of really dedicated listeners. I know how dedicated you are. But some of you might also be thinking, oh, thank goodness, Kathy is giving me time to catch up on episodes. We actually do this in Master Shopkeepers. Usually I start to back off in November and definitely in December because for so many of us, Q4 is our biggest month. And I don't want to force or have the group members feel like they have to attend group calls or master classes or all the things, or that I have to fill them with education and content. I don't want to do that to them in their busiest season of the year. So I tend to back off. So some of you might be grateful that I'm taking a little bit of a break. Either way, until November rolls around and I'm back in your ears at that time, if you want to stay connected, be sure to subscribe to my email newsletter. We'll still be sending that out every Thursday. Shout out to Sam, my marketing assistant. We're still going to send that out. And I'm hoping instead of sharing every week about the podcast, I'm hoping to share, some of my stories over the next month. What am I doing? What am I experiencing? Where is my brain going? What am I thinking about? All of that stuff. I actually want to make it a more personal newsletter, something that I want to share with all of you. And I appreciate the weekly newsletter. Actually, quite a few of you tell me when we don't publish it in time that you look forward to it because you want to know what the next podcast episode is, or if I'm offering something different. So this is going to be a little bit of a shift, but I do encourage you to get on my email newsletter list so that we can stay in touch while I'm on this quote unquote break. I do have something fun and creative that I'll be launching for the holiday season, and I am going to do that in October. So the best way to find out about that will be through email. So you can visit my homepage at savvyshopkeeper.com. That's where you can sign up for my emails. I also can't help but think that this is a nice gift to myself as a shopkeeper because I still run and co-own a store with my sister, but this is going to be a nice gift to myself too because as my sister and I ramp up for what hopefully will be our biggest Q4 yet, having October not completely off, but giving myself a little bit of space will be nice as I prepare for Q4, or as I really prepare for November and December. So I actually hope that this inspires you, maybe not leading into your busiest months of the year, but I hope this inspires you too, to take a break, to be okay with it, to gift yourself time off, to gift yourself whatever you need to do for a reset. I think it's completely acceptable. We don't do it enough, and I want to lead by example. So until the next episode, be savvy and boss up.
Attention sports enthusiasts, keep the adrenaline pumping and elevate your game day with Chumba Casino. It's completely free to play. No purchase necessary. Whether you're cheering from the stands, on the move, or relaxing at home, Chumba Casino brings the thrill of social casino directly to your fingertips. Experience the ultimate social casino adventure with reels of casino-style games, offering hundreds of exciting options to choose from and fresh new releases every week. There's always something new and thrilling to explore. From action-packed social slots and classic blackjack to engaging bingo and solitaire, the fun never stops. Plus, enjoy generous daily login bonuses and a fantastic free welcome bonus to kickstart your social gaming journey. Dive into the excitement. Discover a world where you can play for your chance to redeem some serious prizes and have a blast along the way. Don't miss out. What are you waiting for? Join now and immerse yourself in nonstop fun and adventure with Chumba Casino. Get in on the action today at ChumbaCasino.com and make every day a Chumba day. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ DNC